Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
Good evening. How are you? We'll just get that right. Okay. Guys, we're going to get into a few things. We started a bit of a topic, which we'll get into in a minute, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about that tonight. We got someone coming on the show to open a discussion up. So, who lives on the North Shore? But if you do live on the North Shore of Sydney, well, then you need to be looking for, how did they put it? Chimneys, putting out too much smoke. All right, so any chimney that seems to be like, and they're not roaring that good. But anyway, if you see anyone with a chimney like that is puffing out smoke in the north, local and let them know, because they'll fix that problem for you people. How dare people want to burn timber in their fireplace? People have got to start and get this together, all right? So that's our latest one on the North Shore of Sydney, guys. Dob in your neighbour, all right, for actually burning wood. All right, this is where we're going. I'm telling you, this is where we're going. But Albo, what do you get? Extra 22K a year, I think.
You're having issues.
Am I having Wi-Fi issues?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You're breaking up all over the place, Dave, so I'm coming in. Look, what I'll do is...
But I'm not.
Not now,
I'm
you're not.
Okay.
All right, I'll let you have a go. Here you go.
All right,
I'm just going to have a little chanty, guys.
All right, okay. Because Albo doesn't like me talking about him, all right? And I think I worked out he picked up 22K pay rise along with, the old Governor General, 200K. Anyway, we can look at that later. But he's obviously doing all right because he's pretty happy about his pay rise because he's out eating with Justin Hems, all right, the chef, $250 lobsters. So Albo's cool. All right, he's picked up a 22 grand pay rise, and he thinks that, a pretty decent way to spend a little clump of that, you know what I mean, would be go and get a $250 lobster. So good to see Albo's going well. one big problem we got, guys, again, is a bit of sarcasm, but like the fireplace, But yeah, we got to save the world from bird flu. Obviously, it is everywhere. It's around where is it? It's everywhere. It's all countries. It's just catching up. I mean, birds are they're just not well. They've got the flu, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but they're pushing it, guys. Unbelievable how they're pushing it. So they're saying a few of the big banks, cash is going to stop this month. So again, guys, we need to use our forces, keep it going. I think we need to get this coalition of council things going, like we spoke about last night, all right, and get a group of people that are in areas that are prepared to, travel a little bit to go and help other councils stand up where we need one speaker, guys, all right, in each council. All right, from there, we can sort of bring people in and give you some backup. But guys, the time's here, right? You need to do this. All right, we really need to get it done. All right, so that's 7 fugues. I got a couple of things up here. What do we have? We got the climate lunatics. Here they are at Newcastle jumping on train tops. About all about us burning coal. How about you do that for the reason that we're trying to save kids? That'd be good. You know what I mean? With that sort of sign up there. What do we have? Dutton. So these guys are just fighting in Parliament again, guys. The same old thing, right? Just dead set distraction. But we have, Rand Paul over in America going off about the Pentagon, hid taxpayer funding for the Chinese labs. All this stuff's still coming out. It's going really well, actually. I'm pretty and now we're going to stop, iconic Queensland koala sanctuary to stop offering koala cuddles. So that's because, bird flu, I think. I'm not really sure, guys, but there's a few little stories, all right. But anyway, we seem to have opened up a subject. Caz, come in, and then we'll get our guest in. But we've opened up a conversation on this mRNA. So we've got, fact checker Beck. I was going to give her an intro there, but anyway. So Beck's fact checked me on this. And, I've just gone off.
You're mute.
I've gone off the information that I've found out there on the mainstream. And if they're putting it out like that, I presume that, they're putting it out because it's going to be real. They just may have not gotten into place yet. So, Beck, check me up. What have I said? I actually said that it was the mRNA is already in the kids' vaccines. Is that correct, what I said? Yeah, between this age group we're talking.
I think it was that you were saying something about the payments being
doxed
for mRNA vaccines.
Yep.
So, I mean, as everyone knows by now, my children aren't vaccinated at all. That was 12 years ago. So I've gone through all of this before. I've been looking all day online to try and see what's going on. But I mean, look, misinformation can be misinformation, but I think this time it's a positive form of misinformation because it can open up the can of worms and we can have a discussion, because I'm shocked that so many people didn't know that parents in Australia were already being docked their family tax benefits for not following the childhood immunisation schedule. And that's been going on since I think it was 2015. ScoMo brought it in under the Malcolm Turnbull government, brought in the no jab, no pay, no jab, no play. That's my personal vendetta against ScoMo for that one. But look, the flu shot got added, I think, a year and a half ago to the childhood immunisation schedule. And we all know that they're apparently working on mRNA versions of the flu shot mixed with the COVID shot. So the way I see it is, even though I can't find anything at the moment on mRNA vaccines being in that schedule and parents being docked for not doing that, I feel like a year and a half ago, they opened up that section by putting the influenza shot on the childhood immunisation schedule so that once the mRNA one is out, they'll just slip it in and offer it at the doctor's surgery and parents will have no freaking idea. They'll have no idea. They won't be any the wiser because as far as they're concerned, they're just doing the right thing and following the schedule. But the thing with the schedule, there's I can't remember the exact amount of immunisations there is on it, but you could get 8 of them, then all of a sudden decide that you don't want one. You could get the whole schedule and not get the influenza shot. The minute you say no to the influenza shot that is on that schedule, your payments get docked. You don't get the financial year supplement you lose, I think it's $33 and something cents, which goes up over the times that you refuse to get those vaccines. So I definitely think it's a possibility that it will be an mRNA soon.
I can tell you my word it's going to be, and if it's not already, that's what I would be saying. But, you know, this is a bit of a problem they've got because, Caz, haven't we got something there about how the, you know, people aren't getting these things. And we've got to stay right away from them, guys. There is no good vaccine out there because they're not vaccines. They're infectionaceous. There's a good word. Infectionaceous injections.
Well, this is the University of New South Wales, and they were reporting in May that too many Australians aren't getting the flu vaccine. Why, and what can we do about it? Now, they're bemoaning the fact that people are not giving their kids the flu vaccine. So only 7% give their kids the flu vaccine. So it's interesting.
So what would the normal kids vaccination rate be? Do we know? We don't at the moment. But anyway, that would be because you know, I hope that's down too. I hope people are stopping taking these things. I hope they're waking up to that every vaccination is a death shot or a sickness shot. That's all they're here for, guys. Right, they're not vaccinations at all. They're infectionaceous, like I said, injections.
The thing that worries me, though,
I like that word.
The thing that worries me, though, is when they first brought in the no jab, no play and no jab, no pay, parents were fretting. They were worried. So immunisation rates had dropped. That's why I personally think they brought it in. They spin other bullshit, but they brought it in because immunisation rates had dropped. And when they brought that in, they did get a higher uptake of childhood immunisations. And that's because the financial coercion to so many parents that are struggling as it is was scary for them, which is, I understand to a degree. I mean, it didn't change anything for me, but I was in a different situation than what I am now. So if that happened now, maybe it would be different to me. I don't know. I personally don't think I would ever give in, but I understand why parents do give in. But that's why we've got to educate them about what's actually in these immunisations, so that because of vaccine rates have dropped, I think, I'm not sure how much, but they have dropped since COVID.
But all in all, what this is blackmail for you to poison your child. It's criminal because that's what it is. Bottom line, basically, it is blackmailing you to poison your child with their so-called, you know, Luciferian injections. You know, this is that's the bottom line of it.
It's interesting that you should say that, because we've got a few clips, and Tucker succinctly puts, you know, outlines how criminal our government is. So, interesting.
Yeah.
Will I play?
It's criminal.
I'll play it now.
It's criminal.
Bad. Yeah, of course smoking's bad. Lots of things are bad. But it's not really anyone's business, is it? I guess wearing a seatbelt's a good idea. I mean, I don't, but my kids say it's a good idea. But when they're forcing you to do things for your own good, over time you question, like, is this really for my own good, or are they just softening me up to obey? So when it really comes down to it, when they want to inject me with some creepy compound that hasn't been tested, that they'll be able to, like, shoot me with a rubber bullet if I decline. And I'll be so trained to be obedient that I'll kind of put up with it. And I won't do what I should do, which is stage, like, I don't want to say I'm going to get arrested. I shouldn't put up with that. Because that is not a free country. That's a tyranny. And you have absolutely no obligation under the most basic precepts of human rights and natural law to put up with that for 1 second. Period. They are the criminals. You are not the criminals.
Exactly.
They don't care about your country, which belongs to you. So when they tell you it's not your country, that you're on someone else's land and you should feel bad about that, how is that a democracy? It's not a democracy. Because what's the basic idea of democracy? The citizens own the country. It's their country. It's not feudal land. They're not living here at the pleasure of the Lord. They can't just be shot with rubber bullets if they disagree with his decrees, because they own it. They're not renters, they're owners. That's the basic idea of democracy. However it's administered, whether it's a parliamentary system, whether it's direct democracy as in Athens, whether it's a constitutional republic, representative democracy is the one that I live in, the idea never changes. The country belongs to its people. Period. And if they're telling you At every landing of every commercial flight, in every government speech at the entrance to the Anglican Church in downtown St. Paul's that is not your country, you cannot put up with that.
100%.
Wow, you dropped some truths.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and this is what we need, and it's getting out. We need these clips now out, and that's why it's so vital to get this this World Live News out there to people, guys, start introducing it as World Live News now to you people, you know what I mean, or your friends or your family or whatever, because we got to get people understanding what's going on here. All right, it is critical times, guys. It really, really is. And yeah, we're getting all these things going on. I'd love to have an interview with Tucker, man. Wouldn't that be gas? Anyway, I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, off you go, Cazzo. What do we got?
I might come back to Tucker if we get time for it. But 2GB, they've been looking at that. They've been lobbying for the Royal Commission.
Forget it, but we can't. It's still with us one way or the other. A Senate inquiry was launched looking into the appropriate terms of reference for a COVID-19 Royal Commission that would allow all affected stakeholders to be heard. Importantly, a Royal Commission would also allow for all stakeholders to be summoned. And now that committee has returned a very strong verdict that we do in fact need not just an inquiry but a Royal Commission. Now, Paul Scarr was the chair of the committee. He's on the line with me now. We keep talking about we need to learn the lessons, and I agree. I mean, sensible people all agree we need to learn the lessons, because chances are we're going to have another global pandemic, and if we haven't learnt the lessons of what we got right but also got wrong during COVID, we'll repeat the same mistakes. I mean, that'd be stupid. But as we learnt during COVID, state governments have a hell of a lot of power constitutionally that a lot of us either forgot they had or never knew they had. That needs to be examined. The power relationships between the Commonwealth and the states, border lockdowns and all the rest of it, that has to be flushed out in an inquiry. The government's proposal will not be able to do that, but a Royal Commission could, correct?
Absolutely, Michael. And you had inconsistencies between state responses. All of that needs to be considered in a Royal Commission. The Australian people deserve a Royal Commission.
I agree. I mean, how could you argue against it? And if you are arguing against it, why?
Why indeed?
Straight away, I'll tell you, if we do get a Royal Commission, which I don't think, and that'll take years anyway, but then you get redacted information. All right, so you're not going to get nothing out of it anyway. But the good thing is, that it's out there, it's public, and it's being done. And if it's a Royal Commission, it will be in the public. So the good thing is that it opens up the conversation even more. Do I expect anything good out of a Royal Commission? Nah, not really. Go, Caz, you're going to come and,
No,
right.
Well, actually, we have had a bit of a win there, and I'm just going to try and find it to bring it in. So, why is this not coming up? Maybe I didn't.
Well, we're having all sorts of trouble tonight.
Yeah, we're getting censored pretty hard. I think people are having trouble finding
no, that's fine. It's in somewhere else. We have actually had a massive legal win. So, let me just first of all bring this in. Now, this is the Freedom of Information Act request. Now, our government is supposed to provide us with information, okay? Now, look at this. You can scroll down. This is what was
40-something pages.
That's exactly right. Now, we actually covered this the other night. What a disgrace that is. But we have actually had a major win, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So what's happened is there's been this is a media release from Morris Blackburn lawyers. Now, they had a legal win, closes the FOIA loophole for ministerial reshuffles. So what they have done previously is they have shuffled people around. So they haven't, it's not relevant anymore. You know, that person's moved on. So they shuffle their people around and they move them around. Then they get these excellent paying jobs and that sort of stuff still within the government. Okay. So, and then when we do FOIA requests, okay, they have the justification to be able to black all this stuff out. That's been closed or being closed, in the process of being closed. So now we'll be able to word our FOIA requests very specifically, so we don't have to put up with pages and pages of blacked out stuff. We shouldn't have to put up with that anyway.
No, we shouldn't. No, what we ask for is what we should get, unless there's national security. That's it. Nothing else matters. You know what I mean?
Like, national security now, everything.
Well, we probably come under national security, yeah, the way we get hammered. But anyway, we're getting hammered tonight, guys. So take the chance to share it out again. We are. Everyone bang it out because, yeah, I obviously know and can tell, and people are saying that, yeah, they can't find us, this, that, and the other. Anyway, we expect this to happen.
I'm just going to pop, while I'm thinking of it, I'm just going to pop this petition in, and it's basically to declare the WHO and the WIF a terrorist organisation. So I'm just popping it in the chat. We won't cover it now because we've just got too many other things. All right, Punters Politics. He actually went to a fracking meeting, okay? And check out this.
This is the bloke called the Frack Man.
Frack Man.
Frack Man. He used to mess with the gas industry.
One day a guy drove down my driveway and said, "We're going to sink a well down the back of your place, and if you don't like it, there's nothing you can do about it."
So given the recent popularity of some of my videos, he had some advice for me.
My dogs were poisoned. They killed my dogs. They broke into my house. I would wake up and there'd be footsteps down my driveway to my front door and out. You should be concerned.
So instead of listening to his advice, I went to an event in Perth where politicians and gas executives just kind of suck up to each other.
Friggin' Peter Dutton's going to be there, Resource Minister Madeleine King. This is what our politicians bloody do with your money.
Hello.
Sorry, mate, you can't come into it. You registered,
What's
but it's
this?
not been approved.
Can see that your security check has been declined.
100% guarantee you, they are having meetings about you in George Street in Brisbane. The more public you become, the safer you become. That was the advice that I was given by the people at 60 Minutes.
So are they out to get me? You can hear all about it on this week's episode of the...
My word.
All right, now,
And
Tom
that's
actually weighed in
correct
on
too.
this.
Yeah, the bigger you can get, and you can get out there, guys, to be putting truth out, the more protection you have, okay? Because you're in the public
Exactly
eye.
right.
So again,
That's
help
right.
me, share it out, help us all.
Yeah, look, Tucker weighed in on this, and this is what he had to
It's
say.
like you have, the world's largest deposits of iron ore from which steel is made. I said, well, how many steel mills? Well, none. Why? Because energy's too expensive. I said, well, too bad you don't have any thermal coal here. Oh, wait, you have the world's largest deposits of thermal coal in the world? Yeah. So why do you have such high energy costs? Well, because we sell our coal to China, which uses it to make renewables, which we then buy back. Okay. Whoever thought of that hates you. I'm just being honest. That's not an accounting error.
We'll leave it there. All of these videos are available on the website, but just to bring that in as, as a point of reference on that point as well.
Yep, and the website is stoptherot.org, guys, right? Everything's on there, all our clips, all right, and then some other stuff as well. But get to it, use it, utilize it, get the did you know stuff down, start getting it out in your letterbox around your streets. All right, come on. We got to go to work, guys. That's what we got to do.
What's interesting about that is there's also somebody that's put out this, and it's very succinctly put about the money laundering. Dave and I have covered the money laundering from the government. For example, when they do these greens policies and they bring in all of these wind farms and all that sort of stuff, okay, it's government money that's paying for it. And so, but what he does is he's actually outlaid it very, very succinctly with regards to the Ukraine. And listen to this.
Money, because they're going to end the dollar. They're going to collapse the dollar through hyperinflation and transition to a digital currency. They're printing the money. They're then sending the money over there. Little Zelensky gets to keep part of it, and he gets to buy some yachts and some big houses and all this shit. The rest of it comes back to political PACs or individual people that are in the government. Those people are taking the money, buying assets that will bridge from this monetary system to the next. Then you sell the new asset on the new currency, and you're rich in the new currency.
That's it. That's it. Oh, dear.
This is what we're up against, people. But guess what? 1% of them, 99% of us.
Well, that's right. And look, don't forget. Look, let's remember the resilience of the Aussie spirit. And this is what I like about this girl. She basically says it in a nutshell.
Racks me up when people try to troll me because I come from Australia where our whole culture is taking the piss out of each other. Like, everyone that's really good friends with each other are so fucking mean to each other. Like, me and my mates, some of the shit we say to each other is so out of pocket. But that's just what we do. So when the trolls start trying to troll, it's like, what do you got? My friends are heaps meaner to me and I'm meaner to them. You got nothing.
I love that shit. Awesome.
Yeah, it's the Aussie way, mate. Yeah.
It is the Aussie way. All right, we haven't done any housekeeping here, so I'll just basically remind everyone. Chicks Freedom Gathering is on the 13th. That's in a week's time, I think.
Coming up soon,
and it's
10
at 5
days.
p.m. Edamoga Pub. Really great night, free camping available, really great meals there, and she's got heaps of speakers, and really, really great night. We've also got Take Back Our Borders, and it's a summit on North American Alliance, Canada, US, and Mexico, and that is coming up
And
on
Canada. The next one is the 27th of this month. All right, and that's they've done Canada at USA. Now they're going down to the Mexican border, guys, and I'll be involved in that one down there at the border at Dripping Springs. So I just want you to keep up, and I want people to know that, we need to reclaim our borders, guys. You know how many they're bringing in each month, all right? And we need to claim our borders back. So this is what America's doing. I'm involved with it, right? And it's called Take Back Our Borders. So maybe that's going to inspire some people to just get onto these politicians, you know what I mean? But this is what's going on. And, maybe we can ride off the back of it, guys, but we're definitely going to support them in what they're doing because, as we all know, we need the USA to win or we're going to cop it.
All right. Now we're having some wins, and kudos to John Adams. And he has been taking on ASEC for almost a year, I think. And he's basically put out a breaking news, and this is only within the last hour, that ASEC has been sentenced to death after 3 decades of ASEC, the ASEC model. The Senate Economics References Committee has called for an ASEC to be abolished and for a new regulatory architecture to be implemented. This is a landmark historic reform. Now, this is a man who has single-handedly taken them on and walked the halls of Parliament, basically knocked on doors, basically presented bodies of evidence, made bodies of evidence, and kudos to him for doing that.
Anyone who's having a crack at these guys, it's what we need, guys. It's right, 1,000 paper cuts. All right, that's what it is, and we've got them, we're getting them, and they know it.
Now, also, Craig Kelly has basically said after the new study that talks about 37% life expectancy compared to the they've lost 37% life expectancy. After this, he's actually called for the arrests to begin. So, and he did that on Twitter today, and I would actually agree with him. I think I haven't agreed with him on much, but on that, I agree with him.
Yeah. Now, look out, me and Becca will be in trouble. You're putting Kelly stuff up with me and her on the screen. Everyone.
No, that was me. That was me. And
it's just a joke anyway, mate. That's the whole
now
thing.
Cazz can cop it. She just admitted that was her that did that. So good luck, Cazz.
I don't trust any of them. I've told you, people. Any of them that are career politicians, do I trust them? No. Will I talk to them, diplomatically? Yes, of course I will. Like anybody should, you know what I mean? But just, anyway.
All right, now there, just a bit of news on silver. Silver's trending and silver squeezes trending, and the reason being is that we have officially had the first visible proof that solar silver manufacturers are starting to panic as they try and get their hands on the last remaining physical silver. PTG division of SG America just took delivery of over 5 million ounces of physical silver off the COMEX exchange for use in their new perovskite solar panels. These panels have up to 44% efficiency, which is double the traditional PERC cells. So, and they're actually saying as well that silver unobtainium is coming. Now, silver unobtainium is something that all of the webbots that I followed have basically had the same thing. And for those that don't know, the web bots are based on the premise that everyone's a little bit psychic, and what they do is when they speak, they use different language, and so the web bots basically troll through and find out what that is. And one of the
have we got that webbot farm there,
Cazz?
Caz? Is that in the studio? That webbot farm that I sent over? That's it's incredible, guys. You got to see what they've got.
No, that's not. No, this is a different web bot. This is a futures forecasting one from Financial Guys. But Cliff High runs one, but also other people run forecasting ones. But you're talking about a bot farm where they just basically go around and we have had that. It should be up on the website because we just didn't get to it. One of the ones that we didn't get to, many of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there's plenty more clips that can go on the show, guys. We can't fit them all on. We tell you that. So, go to the website if you want them, stoptherightsacktheLot.org.
That's right. Look, this is really sad, but it has to be played because it's just really sad. This is where we were at.
These were called turbo cancers because of the extremely aggressive nature of them. And you know what? We've had aggressive cancers in the past. We know that glioblastomas can be quite aggressive. We know that pancreatic cancers in many cases can be aggressive. Certain types of leukemias, for example. It's not that we never had aggressive cancers before. We did, but I'll tell you something. We knew how they behaved. We knew what type of populations they showed up in, what age ranges, and so on. What we are seeing since the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines is a completely different picture in terms of who's presenting with these cancers, what these cancers are behaving like. And I'll give you a couple of very quick examples. We are seeing teenage girls or girls in their 20s presenting with stage 4 breast cancer, and they have no family history. That is something, and they've been COVID vaccinated because they needed to take the shots to continue attending university or college, or maybe they just got out of university and they got a job and that like a teacher, and then they were mandated to take those vaccines, or maybe they were a nurse and they were mandated in the health profession to take the COVID-19 vaccines. We have never seen so many young women presenting with stage 4 cancers.
What do you say to that? I just wish people would wake up. I really do. And we have the natural remedies that if you hook in and do it right, guys, you can repair yourself. Your body will repair itself. Your body will repair itself for most diseases, guys, just about all diseases. It's a matter of getting your body to a state where it can repair itself. Because at the moment, as I spoke to you about, what we're living in, all right, the electromagnetic, poisoning, radiation poisoning that you are being put under. And, they're inputting all of this metal and graphene and everything else into you in all different manner of fashions. And if you are jabbed, well, you are in a different category. And, this is why we're seeing a lot. Look at the accidents, and I'm calling them vacccidents we're seeing out there, guys. All right, I'm seeing so much just out on the, on the space, just ridiculous stuff. People dying. All right. And, it's so many more of them, Anyway, it's what we're up against, and that's, this is our government.
Your conspiracy dealer has put out a new one, and this is really cool.
Give me something, man. Something's definitely wrong with Biden. I saw the debate. Oh, you saw the debate last night, and now Biden looks a little incompetent. Well, yeah, I haven't seen him look this bad. Sweet, sweet little idiot. You think he developed dementia 1 hour before walking onto the stage last night? I hadn't really thought of it. No. The answer's no. Which means he's been showing it for years and they lied to you. Well, you got to think about it. If Joe Biden's incompetent, who got us into almost World War III with Russia so far? Who decided to keep our borders open? Who decided to give Ukraine $200 billion? Who decided that we were going to withdraw out of Afghanistan the way that we did and make ourselves look stupid? Who's driving the ship? Say it with me. Deep state. You're almost there. That's the swamp. You're almost there, but you're not quite there. Come around back and I'll tell you more.
That's what it's
all my
like,
friends are going to hate me when I tell them.
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, and like, how much more blatantly can you tell them? You know what I mean? Like, but they don't listen. They don't see. They don't hear. They don't react. And if they do react, they're obviously, you know, reacting in the opposite way to what we thought they would react en masse when you find out that you've been hit with a bioweapon and a depopulation agenda. You know, what more do you want? Apart from your food poisoning and everything else that's, you know, in your life. Amazing.
And the don't forget the general theft and the housing issues that we've got. You know, we've also got this one from the Australian. The Housing Fund's $30 million payout for no homes.
Yeah, listen to this, guys.
The agency was tasked with delivering Anthony Albanese's $10 billion affordable housing fund, paid $24 million to consultants and $6 million in executive salaries last year, despite not yet completing a single house.
Yeah, how do they do it? 30 mil gone, and we haven't even got one house in yet. But no, that's just getting all the boys fixed up with the first round of money.
Where it's all going is to these regulatory things. Okay, so like Greg Reese has done a really good breakdown of this, and I think we should listen to it.
In Trump versus United States, the Supreme Court ruled that the president and former presidents may not be prosecuted for exercising core constitutional powers and are entitled to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all official acts. The justices ordered the lower courts to apply this decision to the Donald Trump case being led by Jack Smith. In City of Grants Pass versus Johnson, the enforcement of generally applicable laws regulating camping on public property does not constitute cruel and unusual punishment prohibited by the Eighth Amendment. The Supreme Court has ruled that the law which disallows people from sleeping on public streets can be enforced against the homeless population. In Fisher versus United States, the Supreme Court has ruled that the key charge used to prosecute and sentence hundreds of Americans for walking through the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th, obstruction of an official proceeding, does not apply, which likely means freedom for many American political prisoners. In Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo, the Supreme Court overturned a 40-year-old case called Chevron that granted radical levels of power to federal agencies. Spike Cohen, @Real Spike Cohen, explains this case and its importance. A family fishing company, Loper Bright Enterprises, was being driven out of business because they couldn't afford the $700 per day they were being charged by the NMFS, the National Marine Fisheries Service, to monitor their company. The thing is, federal law doesn't authorize the NMFS to charge businesses for this. They just decided to start doing it in 2013. Why did they think they could get away with just charging people without any legal authorization? Because in 1984, in the Chevron decision, the Supreme Court decided that regulatory agencies were the experts in their field, and the court should just defer to their interpretation of the law. So for the past 40 years, federal agencies have been able to interpret laws to mean whatever they want, and the courts had to just go with it. It was called Chevron deference, and it put bureaucrats in charge of the country. It's how OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, was able to decide that everyone who worked for a large company had to get the jab or be fired. No law gave them that authority. They just made it up. It's how the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, was able to decide a piece of plastic was a machine gun. It's how the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service, the NRCS, is able to decide that a small puddle is a protected wetland. It's how out-of-control agencies have been able to create rules out of thin air and force you to comply. And the courts had to simply defer to them because they were the experts. Imagine if your local police could just arrest you for any reason, and no judge or jury was allowed to determine if you'd actually committed a crime or not. Just off to jail you go. That's what Chevron deference was. It was not only blatantly unconstitutional, It caused immeasurable harm to everyone. Thankfully, it's now gone. We haven't even begun to feel the effects of this decision in the courts. It will be used for years to come to roll back federal agencies, and we'll all be better off for it. And that's why politicians and corporate media are freaking out about it.
Great report there. And look, we have the same situation in Australia because we are ruled by bureaucrats, and so, we have to actually, we'll be rolling this back as well. And we'll be using that. Jackie said that you can cite that win in your own documents. So, yeah.
No, exactly right. We're having some big wins, guys. We really are. We are. But, we just got to keep going with them. All right, because the more we get out there, the more people understand and the more people hear, right, and the more we're putting the pressure on this fake system. And it'll collapse. It will.
That's it. All right. So we're at 40. Beck, would you like to have some final words? And Dave, you can wrap up and I'll grab our outro.
Yeah. Just in regards to what me and Dave and Caz were talking about at the beginning of the show, cross-check everything. But like I said, this is an awesome opportunity. This has gone so viral thanks to White Rabbit because we can discuss it. We can use it to inform people. But whatever you do, don't give in. If you feel in your gut that you should not be putting anything into your child's body like a vaccine,
and you shouldn't.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let the coercion of $30 a week and your tax, but I know it can come in handy, but just don't give in. Go with your gut and have conversations with your friends and your family, inform them about everything and just have a think about it. Because, if they're trying to financially coerce you into doing something, is that really going to benefit you? That's not right. Just question it, talking to everyone.
Have we got one of those little people's outros there, Caz, that I might have sent over? Just wondering, that'd be a good thing. No? Okay. All right.
No, I've got another one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, look, guys, we're, do not vaccinate. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you, but okay, go and do your research before you vaccinate. If you do your research, you're going to find out that autism's up 3,000% in 30 years. All right. From the time I got vaccinated till now, there was, 3 ingredients, I think, in mine. And now we're up to 72 or something, or some ridiculous amount like that. Don't quote me, but it's massive. Okay. So look, we know, guys, people, as I said, I now know why I had a SIDS baby, my first daughter. We now know, guys, we can look back and see what happened. Okay. So they've been at it for a long, long time. All right. And we have to make a stand. And if you can't make a stand for yourself, tomorrow night, we're going to have an outro for you. And that's what you're making a stand for. All right. The future, the kids. All right. So that'll be running on the outro tomorrow night. All right. Because, guys, if you guys out there haven't got the balls to step into the fight and look after your family, well, we'll try and prick your conscience with your kids. All right. Because dead set, they're coming for them, guys. If they can poison them, make them autism, whatever they can do to make your life hell, that's what they're out to do. They poison your baby food. They poison everything, your nappies, okay, all your wipes. Everything is impregnated, guys, down to your shopping dockets. The shopping dockets. Receipts that your kids might, play with this for a minute. You know what I mean? Guys, everywhere, your kids' playgrounds. So if you can't stand up for your kids, I don't know what you're going to stand up for. So best we all have a good think about it. Share the show out, guys. Try and hit the general public with it. Get it on your community notice boards. All right. And, let's just try and get the word out. All right. Thanks, Caz. Thanks, Beck. Back, Jacker.
All right. Taking us out tonight is a really lovely story. And I couldn't resist it because, families are just really so important. And, at the end of the day, love and relationships are really important in building a future because this is what creates our tribe, our people. So anyway.
Scissors in the
gosh, you're like really wrapped us.
Just 1 second. Do you know where we are? Just look out the window.
Why are we here?
You ready? Get out of the car.
Why are we here? What are we doing here?
Get out of the car. Just get out of the car.
Am I gonna take this with me?
Uh-huh. Take that with you. Come here. You getting suspicious yet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right here. Nice thing. Come here. Open it up.